We had a Yule log, which was actually quite a large part of a tree trunk on the fire, which smoked all the time. Every other Christmas I go to Australia and it's not cold, it's nice and warm, and everybody's going onto the beach, but they still have this love of Christmas.
Yeah.
Just for an hour.
Yeah.
2 pints. Because it's one of those sort of really special times.
Yeah.
The pub on Christmas morning is the best.
Welcome to the Good Food Podcast with me, Samuel Goldsmith. It's Christmas time, and today we're joined by a man who knows how to make any meal unforgettable. It's the legendary Rick Stein. From festive feasts to surprising holiday traditions, we're diving into what Christmas really tastes like for one of Britain's most beloved chefs. So grab a mince pie, pour yourself something festive, and settle in as we unwrap Christmas with Rick Stein. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Sam.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, come round again.
What did you have for dinner last night?
Last night, as it happened, I had some lamb chops because my Australian wife, Sass, loves her lamb, being Australian. So I always do the same thing for her, which is lamb chops and peas and
Very
gravy.
nice. Lovely.
And I made a rice dish to go with it, pilaf rice, which she just said, "Did you make this up?" And I said, "Yeah." So I just put some courgette in it and some tomato, and have some really good stock. And I was really pleased with it, actually.
Lovely. So would the gravy go with the pilaf as well?
Yeah, well, I would just do a little bit of it. It's not like gravy as such. I just cook the rat lamb chops very in a very hot pan. I was going to put them on the barbecue. This is getting too complicated, I know, Sam. But I always just like to finish it off with a little bit of stock.
Nice.
To just deglass the pan.
Very
so it's not
nice.
really gravy. It's more like what they call in posh terms a jus.
I feel like that could make quite a nice Christmas little dish as well if there was only two of you.
Actually, yeah.
So where does your love for Christmas come from?
Well, I guess from my parents. I mean, not I guess, I know. I was born and brought up in the Cotswolds, funnily enough, although I've lived most of my life in Cornwall. And my memories of Christmas are very cold Christmases near Stow-on-the-Wold, actually near Chipping Norton. Chipping Norton in those days was quite a poor little town, really.
Oh, really?
It's not now.
No, it's quite posh round there now, isn't it? Yeah. And what were the Christmas traditions that you had back then?
Well, they were quite strong because my father's family were German. My father was actually born in the UK, but his sort of family traditions lasted. So what I assumed was what everybody else was doing, which is pretty similar, was slightly more German orientated. And I mean by that the Christmas tree, and I don't know whether other people in the sort of 50s and early 60s had real candles on their Christmas tree, but it was really essential. And the thing that I remember most of all was myself and my younger sister Henrietta were not allowed to see the Christmas tree decorated until the candles had been lit, and we were sort of kept upstairs while this was happening, and then this was on Christmas morning, and then we were led into the big hall, it was called. It wasn't a very big hall, but there you go.
So was the tree not decorated until Christmas Day?
Yeah, that was right.
That's amazing. And do you think that was to kind of give you the big reveal of Father Christmas?
It was the big reveal, yeah. And I mean, it really was a big reveal.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing that I remember most of was the smell of Christmas, was of candles and also a smoky wood fire. Because the other thing that I didn't realise till quite recently is we had a Yule log, which was actually quite a large part of a tree trunk on the fire in the big hall, which smoked all the time because it was a bit green. But that was apparently part of the sort of German tradition that you burnt a log over Christmas.
So that must be where the chocolate version comes from as well, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I've only just realised it. And in fact, in the book, I've mentioned the connection between the Yule log and our tradition at Christmas.
And that is your new book, Rick Stein's Christmas.
Yes.
And because you've been wanting to write this for a long time.
Well, I have. I mean, I started off my whole sort of career just being a sort of fish cook. I just remember once when I was right in the early days, the builder that helped me developed the restaurant, because we used to close for a few months in the winter and change everything, he said, do you cook any like proper food, or is it all fish? so I do cook a lot of proper food, including Christmas dishes. And because I've got a great love of Christmas, and so's my wife. When I finally got asked to do it just seemed like a natural thing.
Yeah, you know? And I guess fish as well, though, is quite a big thing at Christmas, and especially I think in Germany on like Christmas Eve you would have your...
Yeah, and that's part... I mean, I've done that for years, actually. I had a Christmas Eve dish, and I don't think that's very common in the UK normally. But of course I've included those memories in the book.
Yeah.
And these days... we always cook turbot, and
Nice.
I managed to get a hold of a turbot kettle, which is probably, it's sort of shaped slightly coffin shaped, but more like a diamond to fit the shape of a turbot.
That's amazing. And that must be huge.
Well, it depends on the size of the
That's true, the fish.
funnily enough, again, I've said in the book that I managed to get hold of an old copper turbot kettle. They're called kettles, complete with the lifter, which is also the same shape, this sort of diamond shape, and a lid. But it got stolen. Not stolen. In the old days, in the seafood restaurant, we used to have loads of stores, which were basically people's garages, because we couldn't afford to have a central store. So it got left in one of those garages in Padstow and disappeared. But then I managed to find at a car boot sale, I found a galvanised one which just fits a sort of 4 kilo turbot.
How big is that?
Well, it's sort of that big, but it's really enough for, I guess, about 10 or 12 people. Because the great thing when you're serving a whole fish, you don't need to give them a massive portion. About 150 grams is enough.
Because that is that's 2-3 foot.
Yeah.
And that goes into the oven. Or on the hob?
No, just do it on the top.
Yeah.
Just poach it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. So you'll do fish on Christmas Eve?
Yes.
And then you'll do your big sort of traditional roast on Christmas Day?
Yeah, I tend to do goose, but I mean, goose or turkey.
Yeah.
I've gone through a goose phase for the last 3 or 4 more years, actually, just because I really like roast goose. But in sort of doing the recipes for the Christmas book, I did a turkey, and I've forgotten actually I quite like turkey too.
Well, actually, I was interviewing Michel Roux once, and he said turkey's his favourite meat, but the problem is people buy too big a turkey.
Yeah.
And then it gets dry, which I guess is what we kind of sometimes experience with turkey.
Yeah, I think so. Also, I think a lot of cooking instructions seem to go on far too long. I mean, I did put a lot of effort into getting exactly the right cooking times for turkeys, and people are always talking about sort of getting up early in the morning to cook the turkey, and I think, well, of course it's going to be dry.
Well, it's basically a big chicken, really.
It is.
We don't, but then I suppose quite often we overcook chicken as well. It's the fear,
I think it's a sort of slight fear of, certainly with chicken, of sort of getting salmonella from undercooking it. But it's pretty hard well, I mean, I'm not saying it's hard to get salmonella, but it's sort of... I don't think it's the danger that it maybe have been at one stage.
Sure. And would you use a digital thermometer then as well?
Yes,
because I always think that's the best.
And, I mean, I think with something like a big bird or a big piece of joint, a digital thermometer is an absolute must. I mean, if you're cooking sort of small pieces of fish in a restaurant, you do get, just by the feel of it, how well done it's not. But I think I would recommend everybody getting a digital thermometer. Basically, what I've done is actually sort of suggest the time it'll take to cook by the weight, but then saying you really need to check it regularly with a digital thermometer.
What were the foods that you would have at Christmas when you were younger then? Would that have been a turkey?
Yes. Yeah. Always a turkey. Just because, I mean, I think in the Cotswolds we had a local turkey farmer, or a farmer that bred turkeys in Churchill, where there are farmers just outside. So it was always just from the village. Yeah.
And so what does Christmas look like now for you?
Well, I mean, it's still a big occasion. I mean, not a big occasion. I would normally have about a dozen people for lunch / dinner. I mean, I don't know what you call it, because we will never sit down to dinner before about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think that's lunch. Quite classic now. I think a lot of people do it because 12 o'clock seems too early.
Well, it does. But the other thing is that I just like to go to the pub in St Mirren, which is just outside Padstow, and just for an hour.
Yeah.
2 pints, because it's one of those sort of really special times.
Yeah.
The pub on Christmas morning is the best.
It's that when people might not usually be kind of chatty, because it's Christmas, there's more sort of friendliness.
There is
a
and
vibe.
Also, it's also that, I mean, in Cornwall, in St Mirren, that all the families, all the local families come to the pub, and you meet people that you don't see all year round.
Yeah.
And also, I do agree, I think there's a sort of, even if there's a bit of sort of rivalry going on, it doesn't happen on Christmas lunch.
But do you get bombarded with questions? Are people like, Rick, I've just put my turkey in. What do I do? Or I haven't put it in yet. What shall I do?
No. I mean, I think it's funny because in, Cornwall and Padstow and St Mirren, I don't think they sort of think of me as a sort of cook. It's just, I'm just a local, you know. So they're not going to ask me. They know far better how to roast the turkey.
Well, because also this year's your 50th anniversary of the seafood restaurant. Yeah, and I heard from your Jack and Charlie, because they came on the podcast, that you did a DJ set that was only supposed to last about 20 minutes, but you went all night.
Well, it was really good, actually, because, I mean, I hadn't actually been behind the decks since 1975.
Wow.
So it was a sort of revival, and I sort of slipped right back into it. And the discipline was I couldn't play any records younger than 1975, but that didn't stop me playing sort of 50s and 60s rock and roll. And it just hit the spot. And I think what's really interesting, I just thought, well, it's not really going to be popular with much younger people. But I guess everybody has parents that like the same music that I did. So it was really, so it went on for about, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour. But then my son Ed, who does local DJing, took over. So it's a bit of a family thing. And it was a really great success. I've done it once since. So I'll probably do it again, actually.
Yeah, getting a taste for it.
Yeah.
You'll have to do a Christmas party as well and do some, mind you, I think a whole night of Christmas tunes might be.
Not really,
too much.
No.
So there's lots of anecdotes in the book as well about your relationship with Christmas, which I think it goes from both sort of not stories, but about how your father, and your sister had sadly died in the Christmas time, and then also about obviously the things that you love about Christmas.
Yeah.
How did you decide what to write in or what to include, which traditions and stories?
I just sort of, I just came to the conclusion in sort of starting the book. I didn't need to start by saying, hey, this is a great time of year. So I started the book saying, I was just walking actually in Chiswick, where I've got a house as well as Padstow, on a really bleak November day. And it was just really unpleasant. And I was sort of just recording the things that I experienced on that morning, sort of bitter weather, dark, nights closing in, a lot of rubbish around, leaves blowing everywhere, and sort of just feeling very sort of like gloomy. But the thing about November, because I say in the book that it's actually the month that my father and my sister died, so it's like a gloomy month. But that's the point at Christmas, because you do have that sort of warm feeling of Christmas coming on. So it's sort of almost, it's not like desperate November, because there's that sort of glow of Christmas coming on.
Happy times coming.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think it's nice that Christmas has such a kind of positive feel for you. I think it's nice that you've got that.
Yeah, I think I'd sort of inherited it from my parents, really. I mean, I think anybody that's lucky enough to have that feeling for Christmas is blessed.
Yeah.
Because we just need things to look forward to.
We do, so true.
My wife is Australian, and I found I do every other Christmas I go to Australia to sort of share the love. And I find it intriguing because there is nothing similar in Australia to Christmas, being in sort of early summer there.
Yeah.
And it's not cold, it's nice and warm, and everybody's going onto the beach and everybody's sort of wearing shorts and T-shirts, but they still have this love of Christmas.
Yeah.
But it's totally different. But the other thing that's really funny about it is that my wife's family and most of the people she knows all have turkey at Christmas. This idea that they just go and have salads and prawns and stuff it's not true.
So they still would have that
They
turkey.
do.
Yeah.
But the thing that's sort of, I don't think sort of Christmas carols mean as much to them because they're all about sort of in the deep midwinter.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Their summer bangers will be playing instead.
So they like sort of jolly Christmas songs.
Okay.
But it's nevertheless, it's still a really great celebration for them.
So do you prefer Christmas over here or over there?
Over here.
Over here. You like
not
that
that I'd
colder,
say
crisper.
that. Yeah, and actually so does Sass. She just, once you've experienced a sort of northern hemisphere Christmas, and particularly I guess in Europe, but in the UK as well, there's nothing like it.
No, I think it's very... I once did, during one of the lockdowns, because I essentially before we recorded, I was living in Oslo for a bit, and then we got stuck. We couldn't come home for Christmas, so we had Christmas on the beach in Oslo, and it was freezing cold, but it was just so nice. It just felt really festive. It was snowing, and just a really I think that crisp, cold Christmas is just so much nicer.
Particularly if you're lucky enough to have crisp, cold weather as well.
Yes, that's very true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I guess we get less snow now. But you were saying earlier that so the tree went up on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So was there a build up to Christmas?
Oh yeah, lots of build up.
Yeah.
I mean, because the tree didn't go up to Christmas Day, but we decorated all the rooms with holly, mistletoe, and as a child, I remember making sort of paper chain decorations to go over it, and the Christmas cards went up. So it was everything but it's just the tree.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that before.
No.
I think it's really interesting. Well, it kind of makes it a grander occasion.
It was a grander occasion, and I guess it's because it predates electric lights on a Christmas tree.
Yeah,
and there's no way you
lose
could
your candles. Yeah.
keep the candles going for much longer.
Well, we're going to move on to some more specific Christmas, I guess, Day recipe questions.
Right.
Do you, because you're very into your wine?
Yeah.
You like a white, crisp white?
Well, I love white Burgundy.
Burgundy, that's it. That's the one I was thinking. So do you have is that what you would drink on Christmas as well? Or do you have another favourite wine that you drink?
I'd definitely drink white Burgundy on Christmas Eve with the turbot.
Yeah.
And actually quite a bit on Christmas Day as well. Because, I mean, if you've got something like turkey, it's sort of alternating really between a light red, I think, and a sort of full-bodied white.
Nice.
So, I mean, my dad, or we always used to drink a Alsace Gewürztraminer on Christmas. But the other drink that I really like at Christmas, other wine, is a bit of a tradition that, having been to Australia loads and loads, there's a wine called Sparkling Shiraz, right, which is a fizzy red wine, but Shiraz, really strong, deep, robust red wine, which over the years I've tried to interest my sons in, and they sort of don't get it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Australia, it is one of those sort of unique wines to Australia, this sort of really, really full-bodied, sparkling red.
Yeah.
So I serve it chilled on Christmas morning.
Very nice.
And they all, I think they're beginning to actually get it now, but it's taken a long time.
Because I've stopped drinking quite as much. I kind of stopped completely, and now I've dabbled.
Yeah.
But a sparkling red, I do. Yeah, especially when you go to Italy, they used to do it. You could just ask for like a frizzante red for the table.
Yeah.
And it was quite normal, and I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. Idea. But I mean, it's, I guess, what you're used to.
Yeah, that's true. And then you were saying you tend not to overdo the turkey. So would you start that before the pub or after your pub visit?
I'd start it before the pub. But I mean, generally what I'm doing now, as I suddenly realised, it's taken me a long time, is that you can hold, you're much better to cook things before you go to the pub and then drop your oven to about 60 degrees, 65 degrees.
Okay.
And you can keep a turkey for 3 hours in good nick then.
Just keeping it warm, basically.
Yeah.
Amazing. And what would your veg or sides be?
Well, pretty much always the same. I mean, I really enjoy roast potatoes, and I sort of do them with duck fat, which is lovely. I parboil and then put a bit of polenta or semolina to give a nice fluffiness, and then roast them in duck fat. Then I'll always have sprouts, because that's traditional. Whatever you think about sprouts, and just plain boiled. I always do a puree of Sweden leek with a bit of potato mixed into it, and sometimes some rocket folded in it at the end, which is just what I do. And also I do a sort of melange of, at the Christmas, they're quite usually frozen peas, broad beans, and some carrots as well, just cooked down together and then tossed with a bit of tarragon, which is just something I've always done. And then just, I mean, if it's turkey, I would always make a bread sauce, as boring as possible. I think the great thing about bread sauce is it needs to be bland. I think one of the mistakes people make is try to put too much flavour into everything when you have
completely agree.
A sort of plate of protein like turkey or even beef and vegetables. Don't overdo it with all the vegetables, otherwise everything clashes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's weird. There's like these weird flavours. There'll be like maple syrup, there'll be cinnamon, there'll be star anise, there's sort of cranberry.
Exactly. And I think it's sort of the whole is what counts, and that's where your bread sauce comes in. Okay. And I guess people are quite sort of rude about British bread sauce, but that's the point of it.
People upstairs in the test kitchen love bread sauce. They're
great.
I'm not a lover of it, but I've kind of been forced into it because I've had to try so much of it. And I was like, okay, I kind of get it now, but I still like the cranberry.
Yeah. Well, you need a bit of cranberry as well.
Yeah.
For a bit of a sort of slightly acidic point and a bit of sweetness.
And would you do the classic Boxing Day Christmas sandwich?
I don't. I mean, the problem is with Boxing Day, again, it's family tradition, is that we always had a party in the Cotswolds. My parents did on Boxing Day. So basically it was a way of using up the, leftover turkey and ham, because in those days we didn't do fish on Boxing Day. On Christmas Eve we did ham, hot roast ham. The fish is sort of something that I've actually reintroduced, but I always do cook a ham over Christmas as well. So Boxing Day I really like turkey, ham, some sort of cabbage sort of winter salad like a coleslaw or something like that, and loads of condiments and baked potatoes. Right?
Nice.
When I say loads of condiments, all the chutneys that ever existed come out of the cupboard.
Once a year.
Once a year.
You probably had them in the fridge or the cupboard for like 10 years now.
That's right. And
I find that, and I'm just like desperate to use these jars up, and I'm like, they never go down.
So
just keep getting them out. So that would be your kind of thing for leftovers then? You tend to do like a kind of buffet almost.
Yeah, but then I do sort of the odd sort of curry of turkey and bubble and squeak cakes. And of course in the book I've got loads of recipes for, things like turkey tacos.
Very
because
good.
I mean, I love those sort of Mexican slow cooked meat dishes, either chicken, pork, lamb, beef, but with some fresh flavors to go with them, like fresh chili and tomato, raw onion, maybe a bit of sour cream, and some sort of chipotle sort of mayo.
Sounds great.
So that's a good one for using up turkey.
Because I think you've done so much travelling that you must have kind of picked up some other sort of traditions that you've kind of included after those.
Yes. I mean, it's one of the great things of travelling and picking up other people's recipes, really.
So you mentioned about fish, but what would your like go-to Christmas Day dish be that kind of like never fails to impress the family?
Well, I mean, apart from the roast turkey, it's always just roast turkey or roast goose.
Roast goose.
Yeah.
That's the thing that kind of like the family
it's sort of
love
one of those
to.
Things I mean, I have in the book I've done a vegetarian dish which is a squash.
Nice.
Wellington, but you need one that's really sweet.
Yeah.
And then you just surround that. You just get a big chunk of it and surround it with spinach and actually duxelle with chopped mushrooms,
nice.
and then puff pastry, and it makes a really nice sort of vegetarian alternative to having
very good,
I don't know, beef Wellington or salmon Wellington.
Yeah, because I think it's often that for vegetarians as well, I think sometimes they get a raw deal because they'll just get a nut roast or they'll get something stuffed. Whereas that's a nice way of improving it, making it a bit more fancy.
Yeah, I think it's sort of, it's a generous thing to do is actually take some trouble.
Yeah.
Rather than just say, oh, God, what we're going to give the vegetarian.
We're going to move on to our usual section, which is favourite dish. But obviously it's Christmas.
Yeah.
So do you have a favourite Christmas dish that you always do every year?
Well, I suppose, I I particularly like scrambled eggs for breakfast. And I mean, it's not really a sort of special thing, but I do like really good smoked salmon and scrambled eggs.
Very nice.
Bit of a favourite dish, occasional dish.
Yeah.
For breakfast.
That's your sort of. You do have that every Christmas for breakfast before you go.
But not Christmas Day because it's too sort of like.
You wouldn't have breakfast on Christmas Day, I suppose.
No, but Boxing Day definitely.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So actually, you've had no breakfast on Christmas Day, and then you've gone to the pub for 2 pints.
Well, I mean, having said having no breakfast, I will have something, but I mean, generally, inevitably, I'm sort of get up quite early on Christmas Day to
do the prep.
Do
you prep anything ahead?
Yes, lots.
Yeah.
And actually, in the Christmas book, I've sort of gone through exactly what I did last Christmas, just as a sort of, I don't know whether people are interested, because quite often, as far as I'm concerned, I like to pretend that I'm well planned and organised, but I'm not at all. So I thought it'd be just quite nice to actually write down exactly what I did last Christmas.
Because Jack helped you cook.
Yeah, no, well, he doesn't. I mean, he sometimes does.
Yeah. But that Christmas, I think he wrote about.
He does. What he's really good at is, because of his sort of restaurant training, is the hardest thing about Christmas is serving out Christmas lunch, I think. So he just takes control of that.
Great. It's like, thanks, Dad, you've done the cooking. I'll take
get
over
on.
now.
You just do what you're told.
Is there a dish in the book that's like your favourite one?
In the whole book? Well, I mean, all the dishes are centered around the Christmas period, but they're not necessarily like traditionally linked to Christmas. But I guess there's a very nice guinea fowl and sort of bean dish in there, white beans, I think, and chorizo from Spain.
Oh, lovely.
There's also a dish I did on. That I would sort of, it was my idea of a New Year's Eve dish, which is, I think, a time when you do. The thing about New Year's Eve is I don't actually go out and celebrate New Year's Eve anymore. That was for my sort of 19-year-old self. But what I do like to do is take a bit of trouble and cook something quite sort of special on New Year's Eve. In a way, it's sort of people of a more advanced years probably like having quite a lengthy dinner starting about 9 o'clock, so you're sort of finishing just about on midnight.
Because I think it's such pressure, New Year's Eve, to have a nice time. So actually to make it more relaxed is just have a
nice idea. A long dinner.
Yeah.
And that time I will try something a bit, not exactly tricksy, but I mean, there's one dish in the book there's two.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're both these are sort of New Year's Eve type things. One of them is a lobster and prawn pativier. Right. And again, it's a bit tricksy, but basically you just get lobster, prawns, fish mousseline, and make it into a puff pastry. The round sort of tart with the sort of you put your knife to make sort of the spokes of a wheel on it.
Nice.
And I mean, it's a restaurant dish, but everybody loves it. But you also do with that pativier, you have a sort of sauce made from the shells of the lobsters. Ooh. So it's that sort of thing that I really like. And the other one, another New Year's Eve dish is pheasant, but you make a sort of almost like a last minute sauce with I just really like, a lot of people don't, but I really like Islay malt, that sort of peaty malt, and I make a sort of reduction with chicken stock, Islay malt and cream and a bit of butter.
Nice. It's quite smoky, isn't it?
Yeah, so you got that smoky flavour, and then just simply cook the pheasant. I mean, just pan fry it, slice it, and then do a sort of celeriac rosti I do with it, celeriac and apple rosti. So it's a bit restauranty, but I think you can get away with it.
Yeah. On New
Year's Eve.
I think, like you said, because it's going to be quite a special evening. You're probably going to take the whole day to kind of, prepare everything. It's nice to have and treat yourself as well.
Yes. And I think there are times when you can show off a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to move on to culinary confessions.
Right.
So what is the one Christmas dish that you make better than anyone else?
I think probably my gravy. And one of the things I've learned over the years is don't make the gravy at the last minute. And most people do, right? But actually, if you buy a free-range turkey or goose, you get the giblets.
Of course.
So you make it sort of giblet stock the day before, really. And then also, I've always got chicken stock in the in the freezer. So I actually make a gravy the day before and then reheat it. What I do when the turkey comes out of the oven, pour off any fat or lots of fat if it's a goose, but deglaze the pan with some of the gravy that I've made up already just to get that last minuteness of it. Interestingly, I don't really like wine in a gravy like that because I just think it's not our tradition. It is France. So I really rate my gravy, and I really think that on Christmas lunch, jugs of it all the way round.
Should we get that in shops?
Yes.
Have you ever had a huge Christmas cooking disaster?
Probably. It's funny enough. There's a part of the book I've put Christmas disasters, and it's generally what goes wrong. It's not necessarily because apart from the running out of gas or something crazy like that, you are so sort of primed up to make sure it does. But you can't really allow for the rest of your family not getting in the way.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. They're the disaster.
Yeah.
What Christmas dish would you ban forever if you could?
Well, I used to say Christmas pudding.
Oh.
Because I didn't like it as a child.
Yeah.
It's too rich. There's just so much sort of fruit and spirit in it, so much alcohol. It was so dark and bitter. But of late, I've come to rather like it. And in fact, I think there's recipes now you can find where it isn't quite so rich, but it's still got the same flavour.
Yeah, my stepmom has a family recipe called college pudding, which is breadcrumb. It's like a Christmas pudding, but it's breadcrumbs, raisins, I think suet, and it's so good. And I much prefer that to Christmas pudding. That's
exactly the sort of thing I'm thinking of, really.
Because it is heavy.
Yeah,
especially after that massive lunch.
I guess it was a time, if you're sort of Dickensian, you sort of haven't got a lot of money, so you sort of pile everything into this to sort of show that at one time in the year you can really show off.
What's the worst Christmas present you've ever given?
I once gave a Carly Simon album called No Secrets to about 7 members of my family, right? Because I thought it was so wonderful that they all should have it. But some of them were less than enthusiastic about Carly Simon, so that would be the one.
Right, we're going to do our quick fire question round now. So we're going to time you, and we'll keep a record of the Christmas competition. We'll reveal the winner on our last episode. Right, if you could only eat one Christmas dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, God. Probably roast goose.
Nice. Turkey or something a bit more Rick Stein?
Roast goose.
One dish you'd remove from the Christmas table?
Christmas pudding.
And a cooking shortcut you'd allow on Christmas Day?
Oh, so hard. It depends what you mean by shortcut, and this is going to get me into... I'm not going to get anywhere with this.
You did say puff pastry already, to be fair.
Okay.
Buy a puff pastry, didn't you?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sprouts, love them or leave them?
Love them.
Favourite Christmas leftover recipe?
Bubble and squeak cakes.
Nice. If you could only cook one dish this Christmas, what would it be?
Probably turbot on Christmas Eve.
Nice. If Santa asked you for a midnight snack, what would you cook him?
That's a good question. I'd probably... A midnight snack. A midnight snack I love is grape nuts.
Ooh. I'll ask you that.
Grape nuts with with milk and brown sugar.
Very nice. Favourite Christmas tipple?
Well, it's sparkling Shiraz.
Nice. A fictional character you'd love to invite to Christmas lunch?
Scrooge.
If you had to swap turkey for fish at Christmas Day, what's the catch of the day?
Probably Dover sole.
Nice. Well, that's it. Very good. Right. Very good answers. And then our final question for today, which is not quick fire, which is, what does a good Christmas mean to you?
Well, it means, for me, because I'm selfish, that everything went well with the cooking, but it's also that the family rows are resolved before the end of Christmas.
What is it with Christmas and family arguments? I don't get it.
Well, I think it's just
every family.
I think it's just part of being a family, that you've always got difference of opinion. And I think it's just the whole process of Christmas is about resolving them, really.
That's true.
You sort of remember how much you love them and sometimes hate them.
Well, they say you don't have to like someone to love them.
No, that's true. True.
And obviously it's Christmas, so we do have a little Christmas present for you.
Right.
Here. Oh, there you go.
So you want me to open it?
Yes, I'd love you to open it. You might be able to guess what it is by the time you've opened it. I tried not to make it too difficult.
Oh, great.
My mum always did that thing where you sellotape every single edge.
Well, that's another thing I'm not very good at, is wrapping Christmas presents. But most of the females in my family make it quite a sort of... I'll leave that in there in case... it's a real sort of competition, I think.
Yeah.
It's
everything
like
go in a bag.
What?
Just chuck everything in a bag and put some tissue paper on top.
They love those sort of really sharp corners and everything neatly folded down.
I might have to open the box as well.
This is like a pass a parcel. Great Christmas party special, I remember from...
Okay. It is your very own Good Food podcast
mug.
I
was actually rather envious of those mugs, so thank you very much.
Not at all. Thank you for coming in.
No, it's been lovely.
And Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you too.
Thanks for listening to this Good Food podcast. If you'd like to listen to more of our podcasts, search Good Food wherever you listen to your podcasts. For more recipes and inspiration, go to goodfood.com or download our app.